The fluorescent lights of the council office hummed a steady, monotonous tune. It was late on a Friday afternoon, a time when the world outside was winding down for the weekend. Sat behind a beige desk, a public servant named Arthur was looking at the worried face of a young mother. She needed an emergency housing voucher. Her story was a tangle of unfortunate events, a sudden job loss, a landlord with no patience. Arthur listened intently. He felt a familiar pull in his chest, a genuine desire to sort this out for her, to be the one to make a difference in her difficult week. He knew the system. He knew its purpose was to help people just like her. Arthur turned to his computer, his fingers poised over the keyboard. He wanted to begin the process, to offer her some immediate reassurance. He knew there was a fund for exactly these situations. He could see the path to a solution, clear as day in his mind. The woman watched him, her hands clasped tightly in her lap, a fragile hope in her eyes. For Arthur, this was not simply a task on a long list. It was the very reason he chose this line of work years ago. He believed in the power of public service to provide a safety net, to offer stability when a person's world was shaking. This single interaction was a microcosm of a much larger story. He began to type, navigating through the first of many digital forms. But with each click, a new window would appear, a new field demanding a piece of information the woman did not have with her, a utility bill from a previous address, a signed letter from her former employer that she hadn't yet obtained. Each new requirement was like a small digital barrier rising between his desire to help and the actual act of helping. He could feel a quiet frustration begin to build, a tension between his purpose and the process. At the core of many public workers like Arthur is something called public service motivation, or PSM. It is a simple yet profound concept. It is the intrinsic desire to serve the public and contribute to the well-being of the community. People with high PSM are not primarily driven by financial rewards or personal status. They find deep meaning in doing work that benefits others, upholding public values like fairness, upholding public values like equality, having a tangible positive impact on society. This motivation is the fuel for public service. It encourages someone to go the extra mile. It pushes them to find a better way. It helps them see a human being in need, not just a case file. Standing in opposition to this noble drive is red tape. Red tape includes complex rules, burdensome procedures, and rigid formalities. These can make simple tasks feel monumental. Not all rules are bad. Many rules are essential for accountability. Many rules are essential for safety. Many rules ensure public resources are used fairly and without corruption. But when rules become excessive or outdated or disconnected from their purpose, they create a suffocating environment. Red tape becomes a tangled web that slows down action. It stifles creativity. It drains the energy of even the most dedicated employees. It is the bureaucratic friction that can grind progress to a halt. This brings us to job satisfaction. Job satisfaction measures how content and happy someone is with their work. The collision of these three elements is where the fate of new ideas is decided. Motivation, red tape, job satisfaction. Imagine a highly motivated employee brimming with public service spirit who conceives a brilliant new way to streamline a public service. They see a method that could save time, reduce costs, and deliver better results to the public. Their motivation pushes them to act. However, as they attempt to bring this idea to life, they walk straight into a wall of red tape. They need to fill out a dozen forms, get signatures from 5 different departments, and attend countless meetings where the primary focus is on procedural compliance rather than the merit of the idea itself. This experience is profoundly demoralizing. When a strong desire to serve is repeatedly thwarted by bureaucratic obstacles, a predictable pattern emerges. The employee's initial enthusiasm wanes. They begin to feel that their efforts are futile and that the system is designed to resist change. This is the point where job satisfaction plummets. They may start to disengage, doing only the bare minimum required to avoid trouble. In the worst-case scenario, this talented and motivated individual may leave public service altogether, taking their creativity and passion with them. The organization not only loses a good idea, but it also loses a valuable human asset. The system, in its effort to control risk, has inadvertently extinguished a spark of innovation. However, the outcome is not always so bleak. This is where job satisfaction plays its role as the critical mediator. If that same motivated employee is supported by a positive work environment, the story can change. Perhaps their direct manager is an excellent leader who shields them from the worst of the bureaucracy. Maybe their team is collaborative and encouraging. If the organization celebrates experimentation and learns from failures instead of punishing them, the employee's job satisfaction can remain high even in the face of procedural hurdles. Leading the way through the labyrinth. Practical steps for change. For leaders who wish to foster innovation, the challenge is not to eliminate all rules, but to create an environment where public service motivation can flourish despite them. This requires a deliberate and balanced approach. Here are 3 clear, evidence-based actions that managers and executives can take. First, actively talk about and listen to feedback on rules. Move beyond enforcing procedures. Start explaining the why behind them. If a rule serves a critical purpose, explaining it builds understanding and buy-in, creates safe, regular channels for frontline staff to report on rules, obstructive, redundant, nonsensical. Be seen to act on that feedback. Second, protect time and teach new skills for innovation. Good ideas rarely emerge during a frantic, routine-packed workday. Carve out and explicitly protect small pockets of time, even a few hours a month. Pair permission to think with practical training in simple innovation methods. Teach staff how to map a customer journey, run a small-scale test, brainstorm effectively. Give them tools to turn frustration into structured projects. It transforms complaints into concrete proposals for change. Third, create fair processes and provide real rewards for innovation. Ensure new ideas are evaluated transparently and consistently. Create pathways for sensible risk-taking. Allow trusted teams to trial a new approach on a small scale without multiple layers of executive approval. Crucially, change the reward system. Don't only celebrate large, successful projects, also acknowledge thoughtful attempts and intelligent failures. Share lessons from failed experiments as valuable as celebrating success. It builds psychological safety. These core actions can be supplemented by other practical steps. Form small, agile problem-solving units from different departments. Establish an accessible online portal to share innovations and lessons. Ultimately, send a clear message from the top. We value your desire to serve. We understand the frustrations of the system. We are committed to helping you find better ways to do your vital work. Shift focus from mere compliance to active, collaborative improvement. Section 5. A balanced path forward. Cultivating innovation in public service. In the end, the journey of public service innovation is a story of human spirit navigating complex systems. We began with Arthur, a dedicated worker whose desire to help was challenged by the very rules meant to govern his work. His story is not an isolated one. It plays out daily in government offices around the world. The power to change this narrative lies in understanding the delicate balance between public service motivation, the necessary evil of red tape, and the sustaining force of job satisfaction. A workforce driven by a deep-seated wish to help is the greatest asset any public institution can possess. Ignoring this motivation or allowing it to be crushed by bureaucracy is a profound waste of potential. The solution is not a radical bonfire of all regulations. Rules that ensure safety, equity, and accountability are the bedrock of a fair society. Rather, the path forward is one of thoughtful gardening. Leaders must act as careful custodians of the system, diligently pulling the weeds of useless red tape while nurturing the soil that allows motivation to grow. This means listening to frontline staff, protecting time for creative thought, and building a culture where trying something new is encouraged, not punished. It requires leaders to be both guardians of procedure and champions of progress, a difficult but essential balancing act. When this balance is struck, the results are transformative. Employees like Arthur feel their work has meaning, and their job satisfaction grows, making them more resilient and more likely to stay. The services they provide become more efficient, more responsive, and more attuned to the real needs of the public. The young mother in our opening scene gets the help she needs, not in weeks, but in days. Trust is strengthened little by little.